Hi everyone, welcome to lesson 5 of our Civics and Citizenship unit for humanities. Today we are going to be looking at the different types of law. So your learning intention for today is that students will be able to explain the different types of law. So for your learning activities, you should have already watched the video, what is the difference between civil cases and criminal cases. So if you haven't done that, pause this and go back and get that link from Compass. And then now we are going to read through pages 492 to 493 in our textbook. So let's go over there now. So 492 and 493. So the chapter is 25.4 different types of law. So let's get started. In Australia, we can place law into different categories. Civil law generally deals with disputes between people or organisations, as well as acts that can cause loss to others. Criminal law, on the other hand, deals with acts that intentionally cause harm to others. So civil law is disputes between people or organisations, and criminal law, it deals with acts that intentionally cause harm to others. So those are when you are breaking the law. Then we also have customary law. So customary law refers to the law of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples, and while it does not apply to all Australians, can be of great significance to Indigenous Australians. So you have civil law, criminal law, which apply to everyone in Australia, and then customary law, which only apply to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. So let's have a look at a few of these. So criminal law. Criminal law can be generally divided into more serious indictable offences such as murder, and less serious summary offences such as fare evasion, which means not paying your ticket, maybe when you go to the train. This was an important difference in the past when people could be sentenced to death for serious offences. Today, although Australia does not issue the death penalty, summary offences are generally heard by a judge in the magistrate's court, while indictable offences are heard by a judge and jury in the district and supreme courts. Now remember, if we have a word in our textbook that is highlighted, we can go to the glossary to see what the meaning is. So jury here is highlighted. So let's go see what the definition is. So a jury is a group of people who are required to decide on a guilty or not guilty verdict for a case. So when it's one of those smaller offences, the ones that are summary offences, they are decided or heard by a judge in a court. Whereas if it's a serious case, if it's an indictable offence, they will be heard by the judge and the jury. In criminal law, the main objective is to punish the wrongdoer and keep society safe. This is done in the hope that it will deter others from committing a similar crime. To convict someone of a crime, there must be proof beyond a reasonable doubt that the person has in fact committed the crime. This means that if there is a chance the person could be innocent, they must be found not guilty. Each crime has a specific minimum and maximum punishment or sentence that a person can receive for the given crime. A judge will decide on a sentence based on a number of considerations, such as whether the person is likely to reoffend, their personal circumstances and the severity of their crime. In recent times, the legal system has made a much bigger effort to try and rehabilitate criminals rather than simply punish them. A rehabilitated criminal is one who can return to society without a likelihood of reoffending. The government offers training and support to help criminals gain the skills and knowledge needed to be a constructive member of society. So we have some sources down here, so let's have a read of them. So source 1. Ronald Ryan was found guilty of killing a police officer during an escape from Melbourne's Pentridge prison. He was hanged on 3rd of February 1967 in what was Australia's last legal execution. So now we no longer use the death penalty as a punishment. He was the last person to receive the death penalty. And source 2. In Australia, more serious cases can be heard before a judge and jury. Juries are made up of citizens who are chosen at random to hear a case. At the end of the case, the jury must work together to decide whether or not the accused is guilty or not guilty. So now that we've had a look at criminal law, let's have a look at civil law because there is a difference. Civil law deals with disagreements or acts that breach the rights of others. It covers problems relating to contracts, accidents, money, and property, as well as many other issues. Civil law generally aims to right the wrongs done by compensating or paying for the person's loss. Unlike criminal law, the aim is not to punish the wrongdoer by any more than that is needed to repair the damage done to the victim. So they do not get jail time, and it's just in order to compensate the victim. Unlike criminal law, civil cases are judged on a balance of probabilities. This means that the judge will uphold the claim if it is more likely than not that the person caused harm. So we've got a source 3 here. Monica Saman was awarded $8 million compensation after contracting severe salmonella poisoning from a KFC twister. The ordeal left her brain damaged and unable to speak, but KFC is appealing the decision, claiming that she had not purchased a twister from KFC that day. Now, remember when we talked about the court's last lesson, appealing is when someone does not agree with the sentence or the ruling of the judge and believes that they were not treated fairly. So what they can do is appeal to a higher court and the case is looked at again at a higher level. All right, now we have Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander customary law. Customary law still has major significance for many of Australia's Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. Traditionally passed down by word of mouth, the customary law of Indigenous Australians varied from clan to clan, as did their language and other customs. These tribal laws have developed over generations to determine a system of order and discipline for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. So remember, this only applies to people of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander descent or identity. Customary law has not been officially recognised as Australian law completely, but there have been some legal movements made to recognise customary law alongside the current legal system. An example of this was seen in the Northern Territory in 1998. Michael McRosty was taking photos of Balarai Yunupingu's family, now I do apologise if I've pronounced that incorrectly, without a permit and contrary to Yolngu law. Yolngu is the clan or the tribe of Aboriginal people in that area. Yunupingu, a senior elder of the Marji clan who was responsible for upholding Yolngu law, took the camera off McRosty to destroy the film, and in doing so, knocked the photographer who was still attached to his camera by a strap. When McRosty took Yunupingu to court for assault and criminal damage, a judge found that Yunupingu was well within his rights to take the camera off McRosty in order to fulfill his responsibilities as elder and protector of Yolngu land and law. The case against Yunupingu was dismissed in favour of customary law over criminal law. So now we've had a read of that together. In a Word document, you're going to find the meanings for customary law and jury. Now we've gone over these two already, so I'm going to help you out with that one. Now remember, customary law is just what we have read in this paragraph here. So customary law, we've got to remember, only applies to Australia's Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples, and that they are a system of order and discipline for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples based on their clans. And jury, remember, go back to the glossary. We went to the glossary to find a definition of that in the textbook. Now, in the same document, you're going to complete questions 1, 2, 3, and 4 from your textbook on page 493. So we're going to find that down here. Here it is. So these are your 4 questions that you're going to answer in a Word document. Let's read through them together. So question 1, what are the 2 main categories of law in Australia? Question 2, what kind of offences are covered by criminal law? Question 3, what kind of offences are covered by civil law? And question 4, what is customary law? Now you should have already done the last question in your definitions as well. So I want you should know that one very well. All right, Once you've completed all that, by the end of the session or by the end of the period, you should have a Word document which includes the definitions of the words customary law and jury, and your answers to questions 1, 2, 3, and 4 from page 493 in your textbook. Once you've done that, upload it up to Compass like I've shown you in the Zoom sessions, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Happy learning, guys.